At Chive Charities, our mission is to champion the underdogs. 5-year-old Simon Croak is a true underdog with the makings of a champion.
You can't help but falling in love with him.
Not only that, the kid can drain a 3.
He has extraordinary skill in shooting hoops, which is not typical of any child at the age of 5 years old, but especially for a child with Sanfilippo Syndrome.
At 2 years old, Simon was diagnosed with Sanfilippo Syndrome, a degenerative brain disorder caused by a missing enzyme. Because Simon lacks this enzyme, toxic storage material is building up in his brain every second, damaging it. It's like Alzheimer's for kids. Sanfilippo is 100% fatal, and there is currently no FDA-approved treatment or cure.
We learned that he would likely plateau in his development somewhere around 3 to 5 years of age, and then progressively lose his ability to talk, walk, and eat after that. Potentially develop seizures, be in significant pain on his way to passing away as a child or teenager. Hi, sweetie. Oh, thank you.
Simon has largely plateaued in his development, limiting his abilities to those of a child half his age.
It's been a balancing journey of continuing his therapies to try to give him as much capability as possible so he could live his best life.
Every single day for Alina is a fight against the clock to save her son from this fatal disease. It's her full-time job. But Alina is no stranger to the fight. In 2013, she was diagnosed with a very aggressive form of breast cancer.
I started chemotherapy right away. I was left with no evidence of disease by the end of September of 2013. But it also left me infertile.
And yet, 2 years later, and against all odds, Simon was on his way.
I'm walking up the stairs, and she says, "I've got some news for you, mister. I got something to share with you. Like, things are never going to be the same."
I got pregnant, and that was our Simon.
You see, I told you this kid was a true underdog. He beat the odds just to get here. But Simon is no stranger to long shots. For parents of kids with rare diseases, the burden is sometimes unbearable.
My husband and I live with grief in the present because we know it's going to happen unless a cure is found.
To lose him is just, the thought of it is, it's heartbreaking.
Knowing how precious every single day, every single moment is.
I go back and forth between feeling depression and total devastation, and then also knowing that I can't stay in that mindset.
Some fights can't be won, and sometimes the most we can do is to make sure every day counts. This is where Chive Charities comes in. Simon's parents and therapists are working to maintain his skills and abilities so that the quality of his life may remain for as long as possible. And we can help with that, not only to make Simon's days as bright as they can be, but his parents too. Thanks to the generosity of our donors, Chive Charities will be providing $10,000 worth of life-improving therapies for Simon.
So through Chive Charities, we'll be able to cover the equine-assisted therapy, the music therapy, yoga therapy, swim lessons.
On so many levels, that's amazing. These therapies are so essential to improve quality of life. And it's just amazing how expensive it is, right? And that how gracious you all are to offer this to Simon. It's so heartwarming.
These will not only maintain and strengthen Simon's abilities, they'll also create joyful and enriching experiences for he and his parents to share. Now, if you've been paying attention to Simon's story, you know we can't just stop there. We're kicking off a GoFundMe campaign right now to shower this family with as much love and hope from the Chive community as possible. The first $15,000 of this fundraiser will go directly to Simon's family to fund more critical items and therapy.
To have folks supporting us in that fight to save his life means everything. It's amazing for them to empathize with us and think, wow, I wouldn't want to lose that sweet boy either.
Here's where things get interesting. any additional fundraising past $15,000 will be donated to the Cure Sanfilippo Foundation to support promising research that could potentially save Simon's life. Because what Simon needs most is a cure.
We don't want him to get to a point where we hear, I'm sorry, it's too late.
There is research right now that could help Simon, but it needs funding. Most large pharmaceutical companies aren't interested in diseases like Sanfilippo due to the lack of profit opportunity.
My methods to try to raise funds, I think we've just exhausted our circle of influence and our close family and friends.
There's no guarantee that these research projects will result in a successful therapy that Simon can someday receive, but these are the family's best chances. Without funding, his future is certain.
Yes, we will never stop fighting for our sweet Simon.